Many respects, they often say, don't they, that show business and politics simply don't mix. In fact, there's a famous line, isn't it, that politics basically is, well, show business for not very good looking people. I've cleaned that line up, you know, the sort of thing. But in the world we live in today, everything's now suddenly intertwined. We've seen, haven't we, recently, of course, in the recent UK general election, how many celebrities wanted to get behind particular parties. All then, of course, highly embarrassed when this particular party doesn't necessarily live up to the expectations. You know the sort of people I mean, people like this. But it's fascinating to think that when your livelihood literally depends on the public liking you, as I've said to you time and time again, it does seem odd, particularly when you have a brand new play opening in London and now you've literally just alienated 50%, if not more, of your audience. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for joining me today. In the evening, yes, which is quite nice. As you can see, this is a nice little area, Lambeth Palace. Very nice at this time of night, let me tell you. History that's round here. You never feel you're alone, do you know what I'm saying? Yes, well, I'm not just talking about the obvious people here in London, but yes, I think you're walking through history, as I often say, chums. Frightening thing when you're standing here, let me tell you. But anyway, let's get back to your story of the day. Yes, it's funny, you know, because when you think, you know, a theatre production costs a lot of money to put on, there's no two ways about it. Plays more so, in some respects, than musicals, because the star normally reaps in a lot of the money. If you take this particular man, for instance, Brian Cox, right? His most sort of biggest claim to fame, you might suggest, is one of the fact that he played the lead role in Succession. And other than that, I'd never actually heard of him before, but because it was such a pivotal role on a streaming sort of soapy opera type thing, then he got a lot of recognition. Now he's opened up over here in London in a new play at the historic Theatre Royal Haymarket. And it's not exactly busting at the reams, you know. So what you need to do is get out there and sell it. Well, Mr. Cox is of a vintage age, and you can understand that, but he's decided to go down the political route, first popping up on something on Channel 4 talking about politics, and then recently stating this. That's right, that apparently our current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, could be the greatest PM ever. Yes, yeah, I know, nuts, right? Now, whether you like Sir Keir Starmer, the politics, the Labour Party or not, it doesn't bode well when you consider that the people that are going to pay for these expensive tickets at the Theatre Royal in the heart of the Haymarket possibly are not necessarily Labour fans. And the core audience of Labour Party certainly don't go to the theatre. You get my drift. And as I've often said to you before, this is what I find nuts about these particular individuals, because it's not them that really lose out, you know. It's the stage doorkeeper, the lighting technician, the sound man, the makeup artist, the wig mistress, all of that sort of stuff. There's a big team behind the scenes. Now, they had their opening night just a couple of nights ago, and, you know, the reviews are, shall we say, fair to middling, but they're not breaking any pots. And what you really needed to go on there was to say, come along and see this marvellous play at this wonderful historic theatre. What you've actually gone and done is highlight the fact that you've now highlighted a man who rates literally the worst possible rating of a British Prime Minister in history, if that were possible. And now, of course, people will look around and say, why is the theatre empty? Why are people not coming? Well, look towards your star, as ever, allegedly. And what's fascinating here is apparently Brian's sticking to it. He truly believes it and will all eat our words in the future about just how great Sir Keir Starmer truly is. Neil Shaw, Lambeth Palace, London.